पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी के नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश धारणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Am I audible? Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Am I
Prabhuji.
audible? Am I
Yes,
audible?
Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
All right. Okay. So you have chosen the continuing chapter of Krishna Leela. So where Krishna is delivering many demons also. So today is Trinivarta. So generally, if you understand, Trinivarta actually represents false pride. So what is this about false pride? So if we understand Sanatan Dharma as such, Sanatan Dharma means eternal Dharma in that context, that to one's existence, what you do, just as quality of fire is heat, right? So the nature of the activity, the eternal living, eternal serving. So Sanatana Dharma actually gives the meaning that we are eternally serving position. We are in serving position. So Sanatana Purusha is the Supreme Lord, and one who is with the Supreme Lord serving. We are all Sanatanis who are. So if you expand that Sanatan Dharma, the very fact of the matter is that you are serving somebody. So why am I making this point is, when you are serving somebody, where is the question of pride? You understand? There is no pride. So a pride comes when we think we are being served, we are the controllers, we are so and so positions once. But if you analyze all our life, like Srila Prabhupada explains, we are either serving one's the company, employer, or one's parents, one's children, husband, wife, pets, inanimates, even all this if you take, so there is some service we are doing to somebody or the other. So from the birth to the next birth, so service is there. But the choice which we can make, that is there in our hands. Now, whom you want to serve, whom you don't want to serve, you can make that choice. But this choice has ramification later, because once you make a choice of serving, and if you serve the wrong person, what will happen to you? And if you serve the right person, what will happen to you? That is important also. Okay, I'm okay, and let me serve somebody. That's fine. It's an humble position you are taking. But we are going to serve a person who is not qualified for you to serve, then you will get into problem. So this is important for you. Suppose you are going to serve a criminal. Oh, it is my duty, I have to serve him. Then it's detrimental. So the choice what we make is very important for us. So the Bhagavad Gita is giving you this opportunity to make the right choice. So what is the right choice? Is that as a dharma, protector of dharma, so protecting that dharma in whatever body we are in, so that is our actual position. So Krishna explains the true object of our service. He says we are eternally existing, and he is also existing. And we remember only this life, but he remembers all life. So Krishna and Arjuna represents that where a person who has to be served and the person who is going to serve. So this is what we understand from Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He made this as the Arjuna Krishna Samvada as universal, and everybody is accepting the fact, yes, we are Jivatma, he is Paramatma, our duty is to serve. The whole aspect of Bhagavata Dharma is to build up this character brick by brick. All these anarthas are there, which we have been coming across. Each one you are defining so many from the past times. So each one is giving you some kind of an understanding. Okay, what is happening? So in all aspects, Krishna is either killing or subduing, liberating or rescuing. All this is happening there. So what is that? If you do not look into the Bhagavad, all this, and absorb in our present day life, then the purpose of life will be waste, and we may take up to another life. So now building up character is very important. And when we build up a character based on the moralities, then you become a gentleman. So generally, there are very great people who are gentlemen, who are respected in this world. So for various reasons, but all not inclusive. Some exclusive aspect, you may be like Abdul Kalam, you may be respect Dr. Radhakrishnan, maybe the present Prime Minister. You can look at so many people in our own lives who are done. So we respect. So all this is there. But actual gentlemanship, when you further study through the Vaishnava aspect, a perfect gentleman is one who always takes the humble position. Tranarapi sunichena, tararapi seshna, amanena manadena, kirtane sarahi. So that is a super gentleman. So a Vaishnava is beyond the bodily aspect, and he represents this service actually. So this is what Lord Chaitanya defined the position of the Jiva, and he himself said that I'm Dasanu Dasa Dasa Gopi. Now we are going through the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan, which is the sublime teachings of Srila Prabhupada. He went through all the 10 cantos, and finally he's giving the 10th canto very elaborate expansion and explanation, his purpose. So for us to take away from all these pastimes in Vrindavan, which is the epitome of science of self-realization, and also the love aspect, where you can see love with conditions moves to love without conditions, but there is a transition which takes place. So when we are going through these pastimes, you find many characters, and now we are coming up where Krishna is in Vrindavan, in the house of Nanda Maharaj. So if you see Nanda Maharaj, you see Yashoda Mai, you see Rohini, all these people, everybody are friends of Krishna, are the gopis. All these people are in the mood of service, but could be in the parental position, could be in the paramour, could be as a friend, could be as a teacher. Garga Muni was a teacher. So if you look at all this, even though they have identified themselves, physical aspect, they may be elder to Krishna, but the mood was service. So this is what we have to look at in our life. When we may be in any positions what we are in, but that position is to see that we do the right action on those positions. The intent is very, very important. If the intent is not important, then whatever you have achieving may not yield results. So you can go as a story of different Leela of pastimes of Krishna. But if you do not take the gist, then it remains a story. So the whole pastimes of Vrindavan is where Prabhupada is explaining. It is the epitome of the service attitude in all positions is explained. Right from the kids to elder brother Balaram. So you can define all, you can name all the characters, but all the characters are around Krishna in the center. So everybody wants to please Krishna. So if this is the mood, if we are going to take, then the result will be Krishna Prem. Now, what is Krishna Prem? Well, that it is a sadhana, it goes on. But the ultimate aim, all these people are sitting here today, means in that Bhagavatam, these pastimes, they have come and they are showing that which is a natural thing for them. There is no unnatural. But we, for as sadhakas, we are understanding these pastimes and trying to see implement in our own life. Let us understand what exactly happiness and distress are coming. Now we are undergoing so many difficulties in life. This is not one. We have earlier also gone through. Many times happiness was there, then there is distress. But if you see on today, if you look at that, you feel them as a dream. But Krishna in reality, he says it's a dream. So if you just flash back of your young days, even though you had passed those stages, but relatively today, you can only recall it as a dream, but you can't show to anybody that I did this. In present realistic understanding. So it is okay, this was there. Let us say we have lost my parents. My parents were lost, they have history. Now I can't recall anything, okay, memories may be there, but I can't rebuild relation with them. They're gone. Where they have gone, we don't know. So the real aspect of Krishna consciousness is understanding this, the dream that we are all in. It's a perpetual dream. We are there, it's all happening, but it will not last long. Or you can say a temporary aspect. So when we don't relate with those things in the present day, in our activities, as well as our understanding of the Bhagavatam, and living like a devotee of life, devotee's life, you will not be making progress in Krishna consciousness. Now, if you take, for example, all the acharyas, and the present acharyas are also, they are doing their best in propagating Krishna consciousness. And today, most of us are because of their mercy. But their stability in Krishna consciousness is their understanding level in the devotional aspect. So in our aspect, we are sadhakas, we are trying to make progress. But if you do not look at building those blocks, yeah, I learned this, let it be there. I don't think anybody forgets ABCD. It's always there. So like that. So when we are going through the process of devotional service, from the Bhagavatam first chapter, like that we are going, we slowly build our character. We slowly build our purpose of life. We slowly build our relationship. We slowly build our activities to be done, activities we are doing, and activities which we were doing earlier, we correct it. See, I'm making the points which you can meditate on. So you will start choosing things which are favorable. You will also hesitate to choose things which not unfavorable. Sometimes it may happen, but you will overcome. So this is when you are in that mood of going in that direction where you become choosy and you want to serve Krishna in that direction. What happens to you is that Krishna comes as a shadow and he will protect you in wherever we slip down. This is the assurance of Krishna he is giving, Sarva Dharman Parityajya. But we have not given up all dharma. We are practicing dharma, but our intent is to do only dharma of Krishna consciousness for Krishna. But present situation, gradually we are overcoming that. So the point which I'm trying to make is, now past so many years we have been Krishna consciousness. The test factor for all of you could be, just like I talked to you about the building characters, is you can know by your relationship with your husband, your relationship with your children, you can know with your wife, you can see how you are becoming more good and good and good, like that. When you start acting or when you start behaving in such a way, when people start adoring you, that is Krishna consciousness. Because Krishna is, all the qualities is imbibed in him, so it comes to us. In the present context, in what we are there, because of our previous life, we have got certain with us which we have, but now is an opportunity where we can refine that life and go towards better. So these pastimes of Krishna Leela will help us to overcome each of these false pride, then ego, self-centered. All this slowly, gradually goes away. Just like a snake, when it develops new skin, the old one goes. But if you are not conscious about your spiritual growth, then without your knowledge, you may be stuck there only. So it is very, very important. See, with our own desires, we have not come here. Because we don't know of Krishna, till then our life after life, we have been taking different births, and we have been there with 3 modes of material nature. And we have started identifying with our body. So this is happening. But somehow, by Lord's mercy, somewhere or the other, it is on us that we have come into Krishna consciousness under a bona fide Acharya Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So we have making a journey here. So this journey is very, very important for us. If we have to go back to Krishna. So, but the fact of the matter is, everything cannot be done on our own. We require external help through Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. And also the fellow, all of us together, we are there. We are trying to help each other. In that way, we are making progress. So now coming to this pastime of Trinavrata, it starts from text 17, it goes up to text 31. Okay. So in that, I'll just go through that. You can see the points. This demon of false pride makes us think we are going higher and higher. That means he was carrying Krishna higher and higher. So what does it making? That when we go higher and higher, that means it's a pride. But if we sincerely, humbly take shelter of hearing of the glories of Krishna, serving devotees, then Krishna will save us from this demon. So Trinavrata is sitting in our heart presently, demon inside, demon outside. Demon outside, we are seeing through the Bhagavatam, okay, Trinavrata is there. This is what happened. Now demon inside. Now our false pride is there. Now how to overcome that? By going through this pastime, you can certainly meditating more on this, then slowly you can work on this. What did text 17 say? The Brahmanas who are completely expert in chanting Vedic were all yogis fully equipped with mystic powers. Whatever blessings they spoke were certainly never fruitless. Everything was there. One day, after Krishna's appearance, Mother Yashoda was patting her son on her lap, but suddenly she felt the child to be heavier than a mountain peak, and she could no longer bear his weight. Feeling the child to be as heavy as the entire universe, therefore being anxious, thinking that perhaps the child was being attacked by some other ghost or demon, astonished Mother Yashoda put the child down on the ground and began to think of Narayan. Foreseeing disturbance, she called the Brahmanas to counteract this heaviness, and then she engaged in her household affairs. She had no alternative than to remember the lotus feet of Narayan. So she could not understand Krishna was the original source of everything. Now, this particular text 19, what is that? It is making her being anxious. So the baby was there, the baby suddenly became heavy. So what did she think? So in the same way, when we have our false pride on that, we can't know what is disturbing us. So in her case, she could understand, oh, something is wrong. So she took the external help. She called the Brahmanas to find out why is that baby suddenly become heavy. But she could not understand what Krishna has original source of everything. So in this regard, you can understand that whenever sometimes when we are in the false pride, something happens and somewhere somebody does something and it hurts us. So that is an act of mercy of Krishna where we make us realize. Many times in ISKCON, many positions in ISKCON, also material world, you have the, we come across many people becoming proud. Maybe somebody builds a very big temple, somebody is a good speaker. Speaker, good speaker, somebody is good in art, somebody is good in dressing. So many things, slowly somewhere or other, we don't know I'm the best, it may come. So in that process, what happens is you're dressing the deities very nicely, assuming. Somebody comes and says everything is so nice, perfect. But some important person comes, I don't see very attractive today. What happens? Your heart, broken. Oh my God, what's happened to me? What? So this is the way that you can see it as a mercy of somebody, Krishna telling that, Baba, pride is not good. Sometimes you may have not even dressed Krishna properly. It may look good to others. So that's in Krishna's, hands. What we learn here is whenever there is some disturbance and when it is displeasing somebody, that means an awareness should come. Okay, I have to rectify myself. This has happened because of me. So this is how in Prabhupada's life, you've never seen this false pride anywhere. 108 temples, 13 years, round the globe. Who can be more proudy than Prabhupada if he is going to be? Is it not? So with little petty things, we are becoming so proud, and look at what Prabhupada did. So opposite of pride is nothing but if you take the mood of service, everything, I've been, the intelligence is coming from Krishna. The intelligence coming from my predecessors. They have taught us. It's not that overnight we learn so many things. It's not possible. Let's say, for example, the kid which chanted Vishnu Sahasranam, the small kid, he chanted so nicely, everybody's proud, but that kid is not proud at all. So remaining in the kid's mood is always better for us. So you don't have the external effect at all. He just chanted his Vishnu Sahasranam, very impressed. but it's not going out everywhere and telling that I'm doing this. So is it not? So false pride is when you start realizing, identifying with your own body. That's there starts the beginning of our fall. Oh, I did this. I did this. So now, how does this go? Here, the next sloka, what it's talking about. While the child was sitting on the ground, a demon named Trinavata, who was servant of Kamsa's, came there as a whirlwind at Kamsa's instigation and very easily carried the child away into the air, covering the whole land of Gokula with the particles of dust. That demon, acting as a strong whirlwind, covered everyone's vision, began vibrating everywhere with a greatly fearful sound. For a moment, the whole pasturing ground was overcast with dense darkness from dust storm, and Mother Yashoda was unable to find her son where she had placed him. Because of these bits of sand thrown about Trinavata, people could not see themselves anywhere, and they were illusioned and disturbed. Because of dust storm stirred by the strong whirlwind, Mother Yashoda could find no trace of her son, nor could understand why. Thus she fell down on the ground like a cow which has lost her calf and began to lament very peacefully, beautifully. When the force of dust storm and the wind subsided, Yashoda, friends, and the gopis approached Mother Yashoda, hearing her pitiful crying, not seeing Krishna. They felt very much aggrieved and joined Yashoda in crying, their eyes full of tears. Having assumed the form, the forceful whirlwind, the demon Trinavata took Krishna to very high in the sky. But when Krishna became heavier, then the demon had to stop and could not go further. So we will pause here. Now, this is what happens with the false pride. When false pride starts building up, goes up and down, and that we can take example of Keshwar Kashmiri. He was blessed with Saraswati, and wherever he go, Digvijay Pandit. So everybody's Digvijay Pandit is there in everyone's heart. I may be an expert cook, I mean, an expert in jewelry. You can look at all this. You can analyze yourself, what you are good at. But what you are good at, how humble you are in presenting those things. So this is what you have to relate with it. Many times we come across many people, talk very, proudly about themselves. But we take it with a, with a humble. It's okay. We don't. But when we go through the Bhagavatam or the Bhagavad Gita, where the humility aspect, or like Lord Chaitanya's pastime, he highlights that Trinadapi Sunichena Tarurapi Seshna. So this is like a tree. We can compare it with like a tree with fruits and a tree without fruits. A tree with fruits is no false pride. A tree with fruits, sorry, the other way. The tree with fruits, no false pride. A tree without fruits, it's standing high. So when the fruits are there, it comes down. Is it not? So the quality is there. This is what is the Brahmagnani. All these people think, oh, we have attained the status of Brahman. There is nothing beyond. And they stay there, but there is no service mood at all. They think, I have staged, I've become God, I'm one with God, and things like that. So the false pride can, vary from what kind of understanding you have. But this false pride somewhere or the other will cut us off, and we will not know. And if you don't know, there are possibilities we may even give up our life. That we have seen in the material world. People have done IITs, and just because they didn't get the first place or second place, they are losing their life. Everywhere you can take, they're committing. They didn't get a promotion, they're losing out. So many things do happen because it's a bodily consciousness which is carrying them. So Trinavratas, if you identify that, and that which is there in our heart sitting inside, this is where you have to, just like Krishna, Kaliya, he was putting his foot on that and trample it. In the same way, with your intelligence, you have to bring down this. There is no other go, because it is not a continuous process. It can happen to Brahma, it can happen to Indra, but because they were all servants of Krishna, somewhere in between they got this, but they were corrected. So in our life, day to day, there is a possibility that we may get carried away. I'm a Bhakti Riksha, I'm making a lot of devotees, I'm the best collector. So you can go on and on. It's a reality in ISKCON. I'm just bringing, because we are a part of ISKCON family and you're all there together. It is very, very important for us to be very, very careful. Very, very careful. So, so look at this Trinavrata's life, how the demon inside is making us humbler or not. Now, why it stopped? Because somewhere or the other, this false ego, it will trip. Because what does he could not go further? Because Krishna's weight, Trinavrata considered him a great mountain. He thought so much of strength with him. But Krishna had caught the demon's neck and the demon was unable to throw off. He therefore thought of a child as wonderful, since he could neither bear the child nor cast aside the burden. So this again is going to tell us that false pride can take us to such a position where we can't live with it and we can't be without it. And that is the position of the Brahmavadis. They cannot come down, neither they can go up. So they get stuck. So continuing there, what happens? With Krishna's grasping him by the throat, Trinavrata choked, unable to make even a sound, even to move his hands and legs. His eye popping out, the demon lost his life and fell, along with the little boy, down to ground Vraja. When the gopis who had gathered were crying for Krishna, the demon fell from the sky onto a big slab of stone, his limbs dislocated, as he had been pierced by the arrow of Lord Shiva, like Tirupasar. So from this, what we learn is only this, that false pride is very dangerous if it is not controlled. Our destination would be the next body in the next life, and we don't know where we are going to go. So building up these blocks of cultivation of good qualities, what Krishna has, what Vaishnava has, it has to be inculcated and very sensitively should be grown along with us. Every day is a new day for us. No problem what happened. Again, tomorrow it's an opportunity. So we are progressing 4 o'clock in the morning, chanting our rounds, offering our Naivedyam, taking care of children, taking care of the house, going to the job. All these things as a Vaishnava is making us humbler. And we are making, but somewhere or the other, even in devotional service, some things could, somewhere at the back, it may come off. So these are the weeds which you have to remove, or these are the weeds. When we are with somebody, they will help you to remove. So, so being ignorant of these facts, the gopis their main aim was to serve Krishna and to protect, whether it was Yashodhamai or whether it was gopis, they were all feeling the same pain. So in ISKCON also, Srila Prabhupada has given the same mood for all of us to understand that how to serve Krishna. And he gave us the deities, he gave us the temples, he gave us the devotees, he gave us the purports. All this he gave only to help us to become sober and sober and sober. So this is how here a very important point is Yashodamai is considering asking the Brahmanas to come and chant. Why? The Brahmanas were the people who knew about Krishna, who knew about Brahman. So even at that time, there were values for it. But in the present day, the Brahmanas, some of you could be Brahmanas, born in, but do we inherit the Brahmanical qualities? Assuming if we have a Brahmana, assuming those qualities are there, are we behaving like that? So it is a distant dream, you know. So because there's no realizing, we are just giving the tag, okay, I am born in so-and-so family. But the fact it doesn't reflect in our day-to-day activities. So it is important for us to meditate on this. See the text 10:7:31. Aho bhatadi adbhutam esha rakshasa. Balo nivritim gavito bhayat punaha. Prabhupada explains in the purport, it is most astonishing that although this innocent child was taken away by Rakshasa to be eaten, he has returned without having been killed or even injured. How the gopis are thinking. Because this demon was envious, cruel and sinful, he has been killed by his own sinful activities. So this is the law of nature. See how Prabhupada is translating. An innocent devotee is always protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and a sinful person is always vanquished for his sinful life. So this purport very clearly establishing for all of us is it's better to be innocent. Even though we have knowledge, somebody will exploit it, no problem. But if you are going to show it up as a showpiece, then we get into problem. So the innocence is the most important aspect. That's what with all the gopis, they were innocent. Then they didn't know anything about other than Krishna and serving Krishna. So same way, the present, it is a pre-final for us to experience this. Once we experience this, when we leave this body, then you get a chance to be born where Krishna is doing his pastimes, and from there you go back to spiritual world. So if these things, if you don't take it to the heart, it's very, very difficult. Now let's go to the purport, what Prabhupada says. Krishna conscious life means innocent devotional life. So that innocent is highlighted. And a sadhu is one who is fully devoted to Krishna. Now, every one of us should be addressing this to us. It's not that it's addressed to somebody else. So as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, bhajante mam ananya bhak sadhur eva antavya. There is a possibility that we may not be qualified. But anyone fully attached to Krishna, anyone attached to fully Krishna, is a sadhu. So Nanda Maharaj and the gopis and the cowherd men could not understand that Krishna was Supreme Personality of Godhead, playing as a human child, that his life was not in danger under any circumstance. Rather, because of their intense parental love for Krishna, they thought that Krishna was innocent child and had been saved by the Supreme Lord. In the material world, because of intense lust and desire for enjoyment, one becomes implicated with sinful life. More and more, kama yesha, krodha yesha, rajoguna samudbhava. Therefore, the quality of fear in one aspect of material life comes from ahara nidra bhaya maitunam. If one becomes Krishna consciousness, the process of devotional service, Shravanam Kirtanam, diminishes one's polluted life of material existence. One is purified and protected by the Supreme Lord. Shrunvatam Swakata Krishna. So in devotional life, one has the faith in the process. Such faith of one exists in kinds of 6 kinds of surrender. So one of the process of surrender is that one should simply depend on Krishna, convinced that he will give us all protection. That Krishna will protect the devotee. In fact, Nanda Maharaj and the inhabitants of Lord himself was present before them. There have been many instances in which devotee like Prahlad Dhruva has been difficulty even by his father, but saved under all circumstances. So that concludes for us to understand, gives us the confidence that whatever we are practicing Krishna consciousness, we take it with a humble pie and move ahead. But we becoming conscious of, taking the good things from the people around us and, inculcate those in our day-to-day activities. So one allegorical story I would relate and end this here is about the false pride, how it affects. So there were a long time, there was a pond, and there lived two swans and one turtle. So they were all living very nicely, and they the good friends, but each had its own of understanding of life, and they were behaving that way. So slowly, that a day came where the pond was drying up. But this turtle was very intelligent, and it told the swans, "Why don't you go have a look around? There could be a better place where we can be saved," because all the three wanted water. So in the process, the swans they flew here and there, and finally they located. And when they located, they said, "Yes, we have to go." Now, how to go? So that was the point. Well, we both can fly, but the turtle cannot fly. So in the process of, they were all thinking. Then the turtle came with a good idea. He says, "Oh, I got a good idea. So now what you do is, both of you carry a stick in your mouth. In the center, I will hold my mouth on that. So you all fly. We will go together." So like that, they planned. So it happened that they brought the stick and the turtle. They were all going together, and they started flying. After some time, they're flying on the basis. Some people were saying down, and they say, "Wow, what a beautiful scene." They saw, "Oh, how they are helping each other. What an intelligence!" Like that, they were glorifying. In the process, this turtle heard this glorification, and she wanted to. They were crediting for everyone. In the process, this turtle wanted to say, "No, no, this is my intelligence," and he was. The moment he got this idea, the turtle said, "No, no, it is me. It's my idea," and he fell down. So from this, you can understand that the pride has no place in Krishna consciousness, one's life. We have to be very, very careful as we make progress. So this is very important for all of us to make sure that we don't fall for this pride. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This also we can see in Prabhupada's life. We can see in all the present Acharyas' life and how they have been behaving. Many people around us are there. I've also come across many devotees who have gone off from ISKCON with that kind of very intelligent people have left because they always thought they were better off. So all this we have seen, but nevertheless, I don't know what Sukruti I had, but still, even after 35 years, I'm still with you all. But it is a danger till the last breath. So we have to protect it. Thank you very much. So I open for reflections. If they can also